Good evening and welcome to the Radical SR8 Championship. Round 7 takes us to Zolder in Belgium. We have 3 races lined up. We're in the middle of qualifying at the moment. We've got a 50-minute race of race 1, 20 minutes for race 2 and 25 for race 3, where the bigger chunk of points get given out. I am Tom Cairns in the commentary position. Alongside me is Jim Cunningham, who will be with me to share his thoughts during the course of the next hour and a half of this Zolder circuit that has previously hosted Formula 1 before, but not since 1984. Yes, it's that long ago since Formula 1 last went there. It's quite a technical circuit with the chicanes and all that being included, and yeah, it should be a fun night of action if you're watching over in Europe. Unless you're watching over in America, where it's in the early hours of the afternoon over where Jim Cunningham is at. Jim, how are you, sir?
I'm good, and the sad part is that 1984, when the last Formula One race was held here, was my senior year of high school.
Was it?
Yes. Yep. So, which I probably remember this race well, actually. I'm sure this was back in my time when I was watching a lot of Formula One. So, good times.
And that last race being won by Michele Alboreto for Ferrari, one of his 5 victories. And what can you tell me about this circuit, Jim? Have you got any experience with this track at all?
I've driven it, in a few official races, not a lot. If I'm being honest, it's not one of my favorites. I'm just not a big chicane guy, and this track has like 4 or 5 chicanes. I don't know. I get around here pretty decent, but I don't know. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't. It just doesn't suit my style, I guess.
There's a total of 4 chicanes. The first one being the Klein chicane, and it's the Villeneuve chicane, which is named after Gilles Villeneuve, where that was the corner that claimed the life of the driver himself, unfortunately, all the way back in 1982 during practice. There is the Jochen Rindt chicane, otherwise known as Jochen Rindt, or just after the right-hander of the Boulder Bergbot. That's named after the posthumous world champion of Jochen Rindt. And then the last chicane, just before the lap is out, is the Jackie X chicane, named after the multiple Grand Prix winner Jackie X, who is still with us today, thankfully.
Jackie X is, they had a special on him. I thought it was on Netflix, but it might have been like on Prime or something, where they talked a lot about Jackie X and his accomplishments. I had no idea. Extremely accomplished man. I think he might have won Le Mans like 5 or 6 times, maybe something crazy like that. And multiple Formula One winner as well. And I did not realize till last week when you told me that this was the course where Gilles Villeneuve passed away. I remember, I remember all of that, but I did not realize that it was here.
8 Grand Prix victories for Jackie X, 6 Grand Prix wins for Gilles Villeneuve, and of course a number, of course, for Jochen Rindt, who was world champion in 1970. Let's run down on the championship standings because we've only got a few minutes of qualifying to go. Jim, let's run down. Now, this has included the worst 2 scores for each driver. So out of the 6 rounds, they've included the 4 best. We'll begin with the AMS with Gert-Jan Polman leading the way by 2 points over Stefan Millis. It's David Walters in 3rd place on 109. Mena de Graaf in 4th on 89, followed by Ben Underdown in 5th on 80. Then we've got Damien Geet, Nick Marshall, Michael LeMay, Josiah Douglas, Peter Solders, and Anthony Hilton to have scored points so far. In the pros, it is round about as close, if not a bit further away actually, for John Hudson. He's 17 points clear over James Barry, who was absent last week. Luke Maxwell 3rd on 203 points, 24 off the lead. Then it's a long way down to Jamie Bird in 4th, 163, 3 points clear over 5th place Mike Bousson. Then it's Josh Reed in 6th place on 152. Paul Crabb, Ewan Bremer, Andrew Horswood, and Paul LeMay have all scored points so far.
That you got that 4th, 5th, and 6th place battle is pretty good here. Going on in this 2nd and 3rd, but to be honest, I'm not counting James Barry out at all. He can make up that 17 points pretty quick with these 3 races, so I think he could throw himself right back in the mix here today.
Jamie Bird, who won 2 of the races last week at Thruxton, is not here this evening. Well, he's not in the session anyway, so we hope that he will be back next time out. for Road America, which should be a very fun affair for when we go there in 7 days' time. We're in the final minute of qualifying then, Jim. John Hudson fastest at the moment. If he remains there, he would get a point for pole position with Luke Maxwell second and James Barry in P3.
Look at those times. They are literally, Maxwell and McCutcheon are 1/100th apart, and Barry is only a tenth behind them.
Yeah, and it's good to see between the three of them, so close to each other. Luke Maxwell, he needs a very strong result. I mean, last week was a golden opportunity miss, I have to say, for Luke Maxwell. I don't mean to be hard on him, but he needed to be closing down that points gap, given the fact that Hudson had a couple of lackluster races, really, particularly one of them where he spun out at the start, but they recovered well to finish something like 4th or 5th in that. But Luke Maxwell has to get a strong result out of this. He hasn't scored since the second round. He hasn't won a race since the second round of the season in Watkins Glen. James Barry wasn't here. He wasn't around last week, but he hoped to make up for that this time around. Qualifying has concluded, and it's John Hudson who is on pole position ahead of Luke Maxwell, beating him by 13 thousandths of a second. Let's run down on the grid for race number 1. We've got James Barry in P3, with David Walters, the highest of the AMs, in 4th place. Even Brummer is 5th ahead of Mike Bousson. That's Menard de Graaf and Stefan Millis on the 4th row. Ben Underdown and Gert-Jan Polman rounding out the top 10. Jamie Bird and Josh Reed are next. The last driver on the grid is Nick Marshall.
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm not sure how I got in there this week.
I don't know how you got in there either.
I'm going to teach them some lessons today. I'm going to show them.
We've got 13 drivers on the grid. We've got, how many we've got in the pros? We've got a total of 6 in the pros. Is it 6? No, sorry, 7 in the pros and 6 in the AMs, which is not too bad of a balance between the two classes. We were waiting for Hudson, Barry, Bousson, and Reed to get onto the grid.
These camera angles are a little weird here.
We are waiting for Hudson to head onto the grid. We've got like less than a minute to do so before we go lights out here.
Well,
and I think Hudson, go on.
I was just saying, I'm sure he's probably just holding. Probably waiting on Bousson because McCutcheon can hold the session. There they are. All right, here we go.
All 13 drivers on the grid. Then we'll look to the lights and we'll be gearing to go for the first of 3 races here in Zolder. And I can't see the lights coming on yet, unless there is not a light signal coming on. I think it's the fact that your car, Jim, is in the session, so that's probably why
maybe
we're waiting that long. So we've got like another 15 seconds to wait until the lights do actually come on. But it is John Hudson on pole with Luke Maxwell alongside. He is in need of a big haul of points this evening. The drop scores are beginning to apply here, and we'll be gearing to go for the first of 3 races here. The lights are coming on now. We've got 1 light appearing. We've got 2, we've got 3, we've got 4, we've got 5. Lights are on. Lights off. It's go in Zolder. A good getaway from John Hudson, who leads Luke Maxwell off the inside line for turn number 1. Watch out for James Barry in the red and white livery behind Maxwell. But it's John Hudson who takes the lead ahead of Luke Maxwell. It's James Barry in P3 as David Walters and Ivan Bremer going to combat together. But it's Walters in the white livery machine ahead of Bremer, goes to the outside of him. And to the right-hand side, we'll look at Stefan Millis, who's coming through. The liveries are different from a lot of the drivers here compared to last week, Jim.
I think we have a trading paints issues. I'm about to refresh it right here in just a second. We'll see if that'll straighten that out for us.
Yeah, that's sorted it. So Josh Reed in his usual colours there, and John Hudson in his usual silver and purple livery. And then it's Luke Maxwell in the white, and the James Barry in his traditional purple and yellow scheme. As they all make their way through the Villeneuve chicane for the first time. No such dramas at the start, Jim.
No, it's a pretty clean start. That's apparently Jamie Bird had a little off-track incident. I don't know that it was that serious. We'll take a look at it here in a minute just to make sure. But, they've got some action back here. Who is that? Is that Bousson?
Yeah. As Bremer goes through and Millis through at the same time. Bousson doesn't notice that Millis is coming through. There's a little bit lackluster there from Bousson as Millis goes through. But there's the alternate layout. So they've actually missed out the final chicane. So that's what's alternate about
there we go.
But they don't actually go through the Jackie X chicane. like they would do on the Grand Prix layout, so they actually missed that bit.
Well, it was, well, at least we got to talk about Jackie X, so that was nice. So it looks like, I'm going to go back here. Josh Reed, it says crashed. Oh, I hate when I do that. I do that every time, too. Let me refresh that.
This is Josh Reed, who's spun round on the first lap. This is over at the right-hander before the Jochen Rindt chicane.
Oh,
he went way too deep, and off the track he went.
He did. He just overshot it. Now it looks like Busan has also gone off track right here. Same
Got
situation.
by over at the Klein chicane and going straight on.
Yep, that's well, that happens here a lot. You know, this course is kind of built for those type of off tracks.
And Hutchinson leads then, and it's Maxwell in second place, Barry is third, and it's Walters, the highest of the AMs, with Bremer fifth. It's Mellis, de Graaf, Bird, Underdown, who won 2 of the AM races last week, is in 9th place, and it's Mike Buson, Gert-Jan Polman, Nick Marshall, and Josh Reed trying to make up for lost time. Hutchinson carrying on. Remember, the top 5 finishes of this first race get reversed for race number 2.
It's a nice little side-by-side battle here.
This is Walters and Bremer. Bremer going through on Walters, which is kind of a given because they are in different classes to each other. Bremer up the inside into the Seren Watts bot. And that's enough for him to go through into 4th place outright. And this is Mena de Graaf, who is ahead of Jamie Bird, going after Stefan Millis. It's Walters, Millis and de Graaf, the top 3 in the AMs, but Bird looking to make his way through, get back towards the front. Remember, he won 2 races last week.
Oh, Jamie!
Superb. He's off the track at the Klein chicane.
Whew, Jamie.
Just going to quickly open my window, Jim, so I'll allow you to take over for about 30 seconds or so.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to actually go back and take a look at that Jamie episode real quick there. He almost took out, who was that? Was Menno de Graaf, I guess. But he held on to it. That's good. He did a good job there. Hope he can work his way back up and get back in his fight.
De Graaf in 8th position behind Buson, coming through what would be the Jackie X chicane. They've gone through there now, and they are now on their 4th lap. And judging by the lap times, we're probably looking at around about 12 laps of racing here in Zolder. We've got 3 races. This is a 15-minute one. The second race will be 20, and the last one will be 25. The top 5 of this race get reversed for race 2. The top 10 of race 2 get reversed for the grid of race 3 for the 25-minute event, where the bigger chunk of points get given out. It's 20 points for a win in both races 1 and 2. With 15 for second, it's every point downwards, or points difference for each position downwards. And for race 3, it's 25 points for a win, it's 20 for second, it's a point difference for each position down from there.
Yeah, Josh Reed's trying to work his way back up through the field after his early episode. Oh, I believe that was that Ben? No, that was Menno de Graaf, I believe, that went off there.
Yeah, it was at the Villeneuve chicane where he went off. Did Menno de Graaf is now behind Ben Underdown.
Yeah,
there's no such dramas at the front. Not really any big battling going on. So it just feels like they're all settling in, wanting to make sure they get good points out of it. But Hutchinson looking good as far as the championship is concerned. But Luke Maxwell and James Barry looking to do something about that.
Yeah, I can't. You know how James is. There's no way he's just going to ride back there in 3rd and settle for 3rd place points here. You know him better than that for sure. He's bound to turn the fire up here shortly and start working his way up on Luke a little bit. Of course, he's driving it pretty hard there. He used all the track for sure. We might have got a track that Luke's feeling good at again. It's good to see him running strong up front again.
New Maxwell running strong, keeping up with Hudson. Bremer, who got by Walters over at turn 2. He's just taking his time to get up to the rear of these, but he won't have long to do that. We are over 6 minutes into this, nearly halfway through. But so far, it's looking like Hudson has got this one sewn up. He has won a total of 9 times this season from memory, from the 18 races we have had so far this season. I have to do my calculations, Jim, so I'll let you take over and analyse the action, just so that I get my maths right.
Oh, yeah, no, I was decided to put this camera on, take a look at and see if Barry was going to start working his way up there. They're just kind of, right now, they're just a little spread out and settling, like you said, settling in. But we still got 8 minutes to go in this race. And, as we know, finishing third or fourth in this race is not the worst thing in the world, because you're just going to be closer to the front for the next one.
9 wins for John Hutchison, 4 for James Barry, 2 for Luke Maxwell, 2 for Jamie Bird, and 1 for Andrew Horsewood that he had picked up at Lebanon earlier in the campaign. So John Hutchison looking for make it the perfect 10 for the season, even though we've still got 3 more rounds to go after this one. We go to Road America next week, and it's to Spa on the bike layout, and it's the historic configuration of Monza to wrap up the season.
I did a GR86 race yesterday for JP Broadcasting at the historic Monza. Man, what a fun race that was! Holy cow, so much fun. If you get a chance, looking for something to watch, go check that out. It was recorded yesterday. It looks like, oh my goodness, poor Josh Reed here. I think he's had a little more trouble. Let's go see. Oh, completely by himself too. Up trees.
It's over at Villeneuve.
Oh,
caught the curb and around he went. Just took too much curb on the entry.
Oh my goodness, we got. Oh no, I just cut it off. That's Nick Marshall's about to hit him apparently.
Yeah. Innocent bystander Nick Marshall. I couldn't slow down.
Yeah, that's.
You couldn't slow down. I mean, you could blame Josh Reed all you want there, which if he was trying to rejoin us, I think Nick Marshall had enough time to avoid that. I agree.
I certainly wouldn't hang it on Josh. If anything, I would say, there's James. Then worked his way right up to the back of Luke. I wouldn't say it was definitely not Jamie's fault. He rejoined in plenty of time. That's probably just a racing incident. It has a lot to do with where Nick Marshall is looking. As he's looking down at those curbs to go through that, he probably didn't see that. Some guys put their vision out a little further and might have caught that. But the unfortunate part is I believe it sent both of them to the pits. So that's going to hurt them for this race.
Well, they're back on circuit, those two now, Josh Reed and Nick Marshall. And we see Hutchison still continuing on ahead of Maxwell and Barry. Just knows the tail. It could just take a mistake from either of them for the whole thing to change. But we've not seen too much drama in this first race, I will admit. And Hutchison won't care one bit. As long as he's leading, that's all that matters to him.
Right.
But at least Luke Maxwell is cutting the gap down on James Barry a little bit with the way he's driving in this.
Yeah, I mean, well, to be honest, they're about equal apart, all of them. Luke was running about the same distance to McCutcheon as Barry was to him. But I tell you, Barry seems to be, I don't want to say struggling. That's not the right word at all. Boy, he is coming. Look at that. Man, he came up under braking hard there. Look at this old SR8 throwing flames out the back of it. That's pretty awesome. They all seem to be kind of spaced out. Barry's really pushing. He's using the whole track, though. I've seen him dip those tires off in the dirt several times, which, for a lot of us mortals, that would kill us. But he seems to be able to hang on to it a little bit.
Nick Marshall got out of the way of the leaders. He's now down a lap. Is Nick after his shenanigans earlier with Josh Reed. But the leaders are coming through again. They head over the line. I'd say we've got 4 more laps of racing. Looking at the times that they are doing, got 4 minutes and 15 minutes to go. So yeah, I'd say it's definitely going to be a 12-lap race. Nick Marshall back in the pits, and he could well be back in there.
Oh,
Hutchison makes a mistake at turn 1. It went a little too deep there. That's the major point in the race really so far. As Luke Maxwell also goes in too deep, and that's going to allow James Barry through surely. Luke Maxwell very, very lucky. So from one mistake from Hutchison to another for Maxwell, still no change in the order, but James Barry will just be there waiting to pick up the pieces.
Yeah, this is turning into a great battle right here.
Down towards the field now if they come. Hodgson's still clear of Maxwell and Barry as they head through. Right, left, right. And you can see Barry's just looking all gone.
He's playing it smart though. He's kind of waiting for his moment. There he goes.
Here he goes on the inside. Look, Barry on the inside of Maxwell for second place at the right-hander before the Jochen chicane, and Barry's done it. Through on Maxwell he goes. That was coming all along, and Barry's doing to second place.
Yeah, we'll see. It looks like Maxwell's going to make a run right back at him. That was a nice pass though. He was holding on, waiting for his moment. He wasn't pushing, trying to send it on him or anything. He was waiting for his right moment. Oh, here comes Luke.
Maxwell coming back, but James has it covered as he goes through. He's out on the curve though. Did exactly the same thing to what Matt Hodgson did last time around. And Maxwell goes back into second place, but Barry will have the inside line for turn 3. And will he have the high ground on the exit? Well, Maxwell is still there alongside. He has his nose in front, but Barry on the curb as they head towards the Klein chicane. Maxwell had to get off the throttle as he went wide on the exit of 4. And is Barry in front before they get to the chicane? He is through. So he's through at last, and Barry should be able to leave Maxwell for dead.
We'll see. He's a tough one to leave, but I tell you the real benefactor there was McCutcheon. He just opened up 2.5 seconds on these guys.
Super drive from Barry, but that battling has allowed Matt Hodgson to scamper up the road. Go on.
Yeah, no, so we got a couple. Look at this battle back here.
This is Underdown, Mellis, and Mena de Graaf. This is battle for second place in the AMS.
Yeah.
7th overall.
Yeah, you got your podium spots back here, 2nd and 3rd in the AMS. They're going at it strong. Oh my goodness. Let's see. I'm going back up front.
Yeah, Maxwell on the tail of Barry as they head towards turn number 1 again. Maxwell to the outside. Will he push Barry into a mistake like last time? Barry goes out on the curb. The mistake wasn't as significant. Maxwell having to switch to the outside, coming out of turn 2. But Barry, once again, holding his ground. And it doesn't look like Maxwell's going to send it unless he can make an absolute dive bomb, which will be far too risky. It's not a slow corner through this right-hander before the Klein chicane, and Maxwell has to yield that time around.
That was absolutely fantastic defensive driving, clean defensive driving from Barry. Maxwell swung out wide there to set him. Maxwell swung out wide there to set him up, and Barry positioned his car absolutely perfect to cut that line off. Maxwell had a heck of a run on him, and Barry was able to slow that down. That was really, really good defensive driving right there.
Super driving from Barry to keep hold of second place. 2.5 seconds behind John Hodgson. He's on course for his 10th win of the season. Barry, well, he's got his work cut out if he wants to keep up with him in the race for the championship. The drop scores still do apply. So the fact that Barry missed last week may come to his rescue as he aims to just stay in the hunt until the last round of the season at Monza. Last lap.
Yeah, this is they're spreading out a little bit here now. I feel like maybe Maxwell was pushing his tires really hard there trying to make that charge, and he may have heated them up a little too much. It's definitely spread out now.
Josh Reed having a few connection issues there, but he's still going. Underdown still ahead of Mellis, de Graaf, and Polman.
Yep.
But is David Walters going to win out in the AMS and just close down the arrears somewhat on the likes of Mellis and Polman? That they are. No, so there is Polman right behind de Graaf. We'll go back to Hodgson, who's performed brilliantly, Jim.
Yeah, no, I mean, great, John. This is a so typical John Hutchison performance. He stays out in front. And then those guys behind him get into a little battle, which, sometimes a lot of people, don't realize this, but as the leader, if you slow up a little bit, you can force those two to come together and start battling, and then you could just sail off and leave them, and that's because he was running right there with them and kind of keeping them at bay, and then all of a sudden they started fighting and he was gone. And here we go.
John Hodgson takes the first race win of the night ahead of James Barry and Luke Maxwell. Ethan Bremer close to them behind in 4th place. And then we've got David Walters, who wins out in the AMS in 5th place. Boost on 6th. And we go to Underdown Mellis Polman, who got by Mena de Graaf on that last lap for P9. But it is Underdown and Mellis who round out the podium with Polman, de Graaf. Jamie Bird had a really poor race to 11th position, and then we've got Josh Reed and Nick Marshall, the last drivers to finish.
Yeah, that was there was some interesting things there. I mean, that was a great battle for between Barry and Maxwell. I could watch that kind of stuff over and over again. And there was a nice little battle back there for the AMs, second, third, fourth,
Just waiting for Josh Reed. Nick Marshall a lap down in 13th place. Josh Reed is around the circuit somewhere.
Somewhere. I don't know where he's at.
He's probably over where the Jochen chicane is. He's gone past that now and heading through where the Jackie X chicane would be. And he'll be over the line, and we can run down very quickly on the race order on the final classification. Jim, as Josh gets over the line, and we can round out the result. John Hodgson takes the win then, ahead of James Berry. Luke Maxwell third, ahead of Ethan Bremer, with David Walters, the last driver, in fifth place and on reverse with pole for race number 2. Mike Boost on 6th, and it's Ben Underdown 7th. It's Stefan Miller, Stuart Jan Polman, Bender de Graaf, Jamie Bird, Josh Reed, and Nick Marshall rounding out the rest of the finishes. Underdown and Mellis running out the AM podium. Let's run down on the grid then for race number 2. Walters is on pole with Inver Bremer alongside James Barry and John Hudson. Luke Maxwell and James Barry are next, followed by John Hudson and Mike Boost on row 3. Ben Underdown and Stefan Miller on row 4, followed by Gert-Jan Polman and Mendes de Graaf running out the top 10. Jamie Bird 11th, ahead of Josh Reed. Nick Marshall, the last driver on the grid.
I don't know what happened there with the results. They never would come up. This is interesting. Let's see. We got with this reverse. They're not that far back. Luke Maxwell, Barry, and McCutcheon sitting right there. If I'm David Walters or Ewan Bremer, you better get on it and get on it quick.
Well, the lights are coming on now, Jim. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Lights are on, lights are off, and it's go again in Zolder. Walters cuts across, but he's got to watch out for Luke Maxwell, who's made a brilliant getaway, and he's going to snatch the lead into turn 1. Luke Maxwell leads ahead of David Walters and Evan Bremer coming out of the first left-hander of the course. And there we see the white livery of Evan Bremer up the inside. Watch out for John Hudson. He's coming through in the purple and silver livery machine in the number 69. And he's through to third place and off. That looks like Jamie Bird off the circuit. He's had a miserable time of it so far tonight, and it's got even worse for him. But it's Bremer who takes the lead ahead of Maxwell. Maxwell got a poor exit out of 4, and he's dropped behind the Dutchman.
Wow, Ewan Bremer got a nice run there.
Maxwell in second place. It's John Hudson third with James Barry fourth. David Walters down to 5th place. And it's Mike Boost on Ben Underdown, Stefan Mercer, Mendes de Graaf rounding out the top 9 as we speak. Josh Reed 10th, it's Gert-Jan Polman, Nick Marshall, and Jamie Bird, who's at the back after that spin over at turn number 3.
Yeah, this is, Ewan Bremer got a nice little run there. Now what he needs is for Maxwell and McCutcheon to go to war.
Through the alternate layout before Jackie X. And it's Bremer who leads the way. He hasn't won a race yet this season as Evan Bremer. Can he change just that? He's shown good pace so far this evening. We're looking at Buson, who's heading through on that brilliant patterned livery of David Walters, and he's going to make the switcheroo here because Buson's gone way too deep, and he's going to allow Underdown to get close to him, but it feels like Buson's going to hold on for now. Watch out from Hudson and Barry though, Jim, because they're nose to tail.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Oh yeah, there's like I said,
Buson got out of shape. Jim. Buson ran wide on the exit before they get to Klein. Look at Mellis, who's almost clipping the Armco before they get to the Klein chicane, and the front bumper's gone. Damage on Mellis's car.
Yeah, that was Underdown also was like wiggling through there. It was really weird looking. I guess there was contact with Mellis after he came off the wall. Let's see where we're at here before I go back and look at that.
The Armco, he got squeezed into the Armco on the approach to Klein. We'll get a replay of it in a moment, but we'll just stay with the leaders for the time being. I think Mellis will be in the pits at the end of this lap for repairs unless he decides that it's okay for him to continue, but there's no way that car's going to be performing as well without the bumper. And Bremer, well, he's doing well so far, keeping Maxwell behind for the time being, but it's just providing doesn't make any mistakes here. If he makes no mistakes, he's got every opportunity to win his first race of the season.
Yeah, because there's no doubt that Maxwell and McCutcheon are going to start battling each other at some point, or one of those three is going to battle, between Maxwell, McCutcheon, and Barry. They're going to fight it out here shortly. The thing is, somebody's got to get to Maxwell before he gets by Bremer. At least that's what I'm saying, what Bremer's thinking anyway.
20-minute race. The top 10 in this will get reversed for the third event. And we are seeing Bremer, Maxwell, Hudson, and Barry knows. So, well, I could say Maxwell's all over the gearbox of Bremer as they come through. Villeneuve again, right on board with Hudson has got James Berry just as close. And now they're heading out of the right-hander before heading up and down again. And this is over at the Boulderberg box.
Oh!
Hudson's gone wide.
Oh, here they go.
Hold it out. He'll have the inside, Wilmer Hudson, so he'll just hang on for the time being. Barry will have to get off the throttle because there's no way he's going to pull it off here. And he very nearly went rounded, Barry. That was a little bit ill-considered, but he got out of it in the end. And now he's got David Walters closing in. And Maxwell, no way through on Bremer just yet, but watch out for Walters. He was harassing Barry all the way through turn one, and he's still there somewhat alongside. Barry has to go defensive to keep Walters back. But so far,
if I'm Walters, I don't even try that. What do you don't? You're not gonna stay ahead of him the rest of the race. Don't risk yourself overdriving that car and that right there.
Barry collides with Walters on the exit of turn 4. Bad error there from one of the championship protagonists. James Barry and David Walters are both out of it.
That's exactly what I was talking about. There was no reason for Walters to be in that spot. He was leading his class. He just needed to. He ended up pushing Barry, and Barry wrecked that car. I'm not saying it's his fault. I'm just saying he got caught up in an incident that he didn't need to be in, and that's what I was saying when it happened.
We'll get a replay of that incident involving James Barry and David Walters coming out of turn number 4. But that is a body blow to Barry's hopes in the championship. So this is at the beginning of the lap. But Walters almost banging wheels with Barry to begin with.
Yeah,
there was a little bit of a touch on the XF1, wasn't there?
There was, just slightly, baby. But yeah, you see, I mean, as he starts pushing here, Barry is. Barry's starting to drive harder to go ahead and get away from him, and that was all it took. Just got a wheel
David
off.
Walters did nothing wrong, though, Jim. My argument is that Walters did nothing wrong. I mean, Barry
he
way
didn't.
out.
No, it's definitely. You're right. It's absolutely not. It's 100% Barry's fault. But I'm just saying there was no reason for Walters to be pushing him that hard. Just settle in, take your first place, and that's all. That's all I'm saying. Definitely not his fault. He did nothing wrong there except get caught up in a mess.
That's allowed Hutchinson to third place. Barry down to P11, which is not good news. I mean, I suppose if he ends up in the top 10, he could have a better chance of going for a win in race number 3. But this is not what he needed. He was absent last week. It could be another boo-boo here this evening for the Brit. And now we've got a fight for the win between Bremer and Maxwell, which we wouldn't have thought would be saying that at the beginning of this evening.
I did not, and I'm thoroughly impressed because nobody has got up there and harassed Maxwell, and Bremer's been able to hold him off for 5 laps so far. He's doing a fantastic job. In fact, to me like this is the kind of circuit that thrives for Bremer. Yes, well, apparently, again, if he can keep him at bay and still drive at a speed that allows McCutcheon to catch Maxwell, then they could start battling, and that may give Bremer the chance to slide away a little bit. But it's got to all be well-timed because either one of those guys can make up seconds on you really, really fast. Walters has rejoined the race. He's a minute off Jamie Bird now. I think he's down a lap on the leader, thinking of it, is David Walters. But you could just see he's behind Josh Reed on the road. So he could just stay in touch with him. He'll have to hope that more drivers drop out of this before the end. But Mellis, he's remarkably able to still going without that front end. And he's staying ahead of Josh Reed. Don't know where Josh Reed's pace has gone this evening because it doesn't feel like he's got it like he did
over at Thruxton last week?
No, it does not. Again, certain circuits fit certain people, and it just may not be the one for him. But yeah, he is not having a good night tonight for sure.
Bremer and Maxwell through the last corner. Maxwell pulling out the slipstream. Bremer didn't get a very good exit out of Jackie X, and he's just basically allowed Maxwell through.
Yeah, that was.
I'd be interested to get a view on that
me too.
Bremer's on board.
I want to see what happened with his exit there.
He got out of shape, I'd have thought, out of Jackie X, and as soon as he got out of shape, he had to lift off the throttle, and that was all of what Maxwell needed.
All right, I'm gonna.
Or did he have a slowdown? Do you reckon, Jim?
I don't know. I hate doing that, but I'm gonna jump back even further. Let's see.
I think he had a slowdown.
He must have, because he did nothing there that would indicate to me that he, that he had a mistake there. He looked like he got through there really well, actually.
Luke Maxwell will take it all day long, though. He's now leading the race. He hasn't won since Watkins Glen.
Be hard now for Bremer. He's, he really needed some help up there with Maxwell, and now that Maxwell's out in front, he's going to have McCutcheon all over him here in just a short amount of time.
He's coming over the line to complete his 7th lap. Ben Underdown is the leader of the AMs at the moment.
He is.
So we're on course for a different AM winner to what we had in race 1. And like I say, David Walters has just got to hope more drivers drop out of this before the end, but I don't think that is going to be very likely. But at the moment, James Barry, who's now ahead of Nick Marshall, will be on reverse grid pole for later.
Yeah, that was really, really unfortunate for David. He was flying. He was really running well. He legitimately was staying in contact with Barry, and that's not easy to do.
And a tight line for Bremer through the Klein chicane. Where is Hutchison? Because he thought about going for it at that particular part of the course. And he is still there. He's still behind Bremer, but this is helping Maxwell scamper further up the distance from these two. He might boost on his another 4 seconds off. And it's highly unlikely given the nature of how the races have been going tonight. But if Hutchison and Bremer get into a tangle, Booston will be in play for a podium.
Yeah, again, that's going to require an accident. I don't think he's going to run them down as fast as those two guys are, even if they start battling hard. I don't see him making up almost 5 seconds, but it's really just slightly over 4. We'll see, though. Well, I miss Paul LeMay in the chat tonight. He's always a bright spot when he's in the chat. Oh, McCutcheon just got him right there.
Yeah, Bremer made a mistake on the exit turn 2. It was just too easy for Hutchison to head through. Now it's going to come down to whether Maxwell can actually, handle the pressure, really, because I don't think it's something he's been able to do too much this season, because it's inevitable that Hutchison's going to close in on him in the closing laps. It's just whether Maxwell can actually remain cool under pressure.
I would agree with you. Everything you're saying is 100% correct for sure. But, they were only a 10th off in qualifying. So with 2.5 seconds, if Luke's driving the kind of laps he needs to be driving, he could stay ahead of McCutcheon. So you're right. It's really going to come down to whether, whether his nerves get to him a little bit and allow McCutcheon, to make some kind of silly mistake and allow McCutcheon to catch him.
Maxwell's gone over the line. I'm working out how many laps we've got to go. I would probably say we've got run about 6 laps to go, depending on how long it'll be after the 20-minute mark eclipses for Maxwell. He'll hope it is 15 laps and not 16, because it's less laps for him to cope with the situation.
Well,
James Barry is in 10th place, going after Stefan Millis.
The situation is definitely happening. McCutcheon is definitely closing the gap up. He's got at least a quarter to almost a half a second already he's made up. Wait a minute, what? James Barry?
What's he done here?
I think he's boo-booed.
Yeah. Oh, he's going to hit the wall. Yeah. Inevitable. I'll be amazed if he carried on after that. I wouldn't be at all surprised if the steering's all askew.
Yeah, we'll go
because
look.
That was a hefty whack. Yeah, he's back in the pits, is James Barry.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, he jumped to the pits.
A poor error by his standards. It's a really poor race for him, and he'll have to hope for better luck next time out. He may come back onto the circuit.
Oh!
Just in case.
Did you see McCutcheon back there?
I didn't see it, but go on.
Oh, my gosh. He had it sideways. Look at this save. Oops. I jumped back too far, I think. Where am I? Did I jump back too far?
No, it's jumped forward, actually.
Did it?
You have to go back a little bit more.
It's not acting proper right now. Oh, here we go. All right. Watch him come out of this turn back there.
Oh, yeah, not half. Not half.
He had it sideways, man. Wow.
I suppose with there not being a lot of action on circuit, I suppose that's one of the highlights of the event so far, isn't it?
Look, man, that's a nice save. I mean, that's a high-speed spot. You got full throttle on right there, and you got it sideways, and he saved it. I mean, that was nice.
It was very nice, yeah. Ben Underdown is ahead of Mike Bousson for position. He's in 4th place. Bousson down to 5th, and it's Mena de Graaf, Josh Reed, Stefan Mellis. It's Underdown, de Graaf and Mellis that round out the podium as it stands. Polman, who's another 4 seconds adrift of Mellis in their tussle for the AMS Championship. And Jamie Bird and Nick Marshall are some way back. Jamie Bird will be on reverse grid pole as it stands.
Yeah, that'll be a little redemption for the evening, possibly. Certainly not going great right now.
And you can see Bousson and Underdown. Underdown is ahead of Bousson.
Not a battle for real position, but I think if you're an Underdown spot, it would be great as an AM to win the AMs and finish 4th overall, in this class of drivers.
Well, Bousson will want to get on with it here and get by Underdown as soon as he can. Bremer's dropped back from a Hodgson. He's a couple of seconds off what the skirt is doing in terms of pace. And looking at where David Walters is, he's actually closing on Nick Marshall, but he's not going to have enough time to really get back a 53-second margin over Nick. With all the time we've got left, even with the most almighty laps that he could produce, there's no way he's going to catch up with him.
There's not much worse feeling. There he goes. There's not much worse feeling than what David Walters is doing right now. No chance you're going to improve your spot. You're just out there riding. Oh, look at these two.
Yeah, they almost look like they're going to go side by side through the final part of the lap.
I'm telling you,
he's on his through at last, but Underdown's coming back.
He's not done for sure. Oh, he's taking that nice
Underdown.
wide line. That's a good line right there.
Yeah,
he's going to give
a very good line from Underdown. Yeah, I agree with you. And he's going to switch sides as well, making it as difficult as possible for Mike Bousson. They go through turn number 3. Can Underdown remain there? Now, we saw what happened with Barry and Walters earlier. He just wants to hold back in case the same applies to Bousson here. He does run wide a little bit, to be fair to Bousson, but he holds on for the time being.
Bousson did a good job there, though, putting his car in the right spot. He made, that was an accident. He made Underdown lift when Underdown had that killer run off the turn there. He put his car in a spot where Underdown had to lift a little bit because Underdown had a heck of a run on him. Ben was coming.
He's dropped back a little bit now. He didn't go through the Villeneuve chicane as sweetly as he'd like to have done. The closest battle we've got is Mena de Graaf and Josh Reed, who are in a battle of their own. I think de Graaf he just got in front of Josh Reed just now.
Did he? Oh, he sure did.
Yeah, he's in front of Josh Reed. I don't know whether Reed lost time somewhere earlier on in the lap. He's
nothing I
behind
can
de Graaf.
see.
Well, Luke Maxwell's on his way to his first win in 5 weeks. He's ahead of John Mahotson, who has given it his all. But Maxwell will take this. It's a deserved win.
Yo, absolutely. He's, he definitely deserves it. He's, he did a great job here of staying out of that little battle that was going on and eventually catching and putting Bremer away. And then staying ahead of McCutcheon. He's driving the wheels off of it. I mean, McCutcheon has not been able to catch him. When we talked about that, the gap was 2.5 seconds. Here we are, 5+ minutes later, I guess it is, and we're still around 2-second gap. So yeah, he's doing everything he needs to do. This is assuming, I don't want to jinx anybody, but assuming everything goes according to plan, he's having a great run here. He deserves it.
He's about to start the final lap of the race is Luke Maxwell. There we see Josh Reed go back through, drift his way through, and he takes Menegoff with him and runs into David Walters as he got going.
Poor David Walters is having. Was that Walters? I guess it was.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, he is not having the best of nights, is he? Man alive.
He's not the only one without a front end. We saw it from Stefan Mellis earlier. But there is Buson. There is Underdown. He's done well to remain in touch with the Brit.
Yeah, indeed.
Maxwell.
Yeah, see, that shows.
To the end.
I think that was. Let me see. I might be. Oh, that was Minnow de Graaf in front of him, huh?
Yeah. So
okay.
Reed went for the move. The door was open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Took Minnow out with his rear end and then got David Walters with his front end.
He hesitated, and so he ends the race without a front end. We'll go back to Luke Maxwell, who's about to take his first win in 5 weeks. It'll be his third of the season, with John Hudson a close second. But it's a deserved win for Luke Maxwell. Luke Maxwell exits Jackie X for the last time, and he takes the race 2 win at Zolder. Congratulations to him. He'll be delighted. Well done to Luke Maxwell. John Hudson, second place finish with Even Bremer bagging a podium for himself. Nicely done by him. Mike Boost on fourth, with Ben Underdown once again coming out on top in the AMS. It was David Walters earlier. It's Ben Underdown this time around. Mende de Graaf will be second in the AMS, and Josh Reed being followed home by Stefan Mellis, who completes the AM podium. Gert-Jan Polman, Jamie Bird, who will start on reverse grid pole for the third race with Nick Marshall and David Walters for last of those.
You got Reed and Mellis here. It looks like we're at a junkyard. So many of these cars have body panels missing and wings. And poor old Jamie, he is not having a good night either, man. Golly.
At least he's brought the car home anyway. And we wait for Nick Marshall to head over the line. And we'll run down on the result of race number 2. Luke Maxwell takes the honours ahead of John Hudson, with Even Bremer coming home in third place. In fourth position was Mike Buson. In fifth place was Ben Underdown, and the winner of the AMS in sixth place, as we run down the rest of the order. We've gone into the warm-up session.
No idea why this is not showing up. I apologize. For some reason it is. Oh, here, let's try this maybe. Oh, I don't know. It's one of these buttons is obviously askew here. I'm sorry. Just you'll have to cover them for them. Yeah.
I'll run back on the stream then, and that way it'll answer my question. In sixth place was Mende de Graaf, Josh Reed 7th, and it's Stefan Mellis 8th, Gert-Jan Polman 9th, and Jamie Bird in 10th, and on reverse grid pole for race 3. Nick Marshall 11th, David Walters down a lap in 12th, with James Murray not finishing.
Yeah, that was a tough race for James, and obviously, and Jamie Bird had a rough one there as well. Yeah, I have no idea why these points aren't showing. This is so weird.
Do get involved in the live chat. If you have any questions you want to ask us, we'll answer them as soon as we can. We've got a few minutes before we go racing.
Was that Jamie Bird in there?
I think it may well be. Yeah, so it's gone quick dinner break. What is it then, Jamie? Is it a sandwich? Is it something you're just sticking in the microwave? Is it mug and shots? What is it?
That's
Now, for those who wondering what is mug and shots, it's like,
yeah. What is I was wondering myself.
Well, it's basically like a powdered some of it can be mac and cheese, some of it could be something else. It's like you pour it into it. It's like a powder you put into a mug with like some mac and cheese in there, and you use some hot water from the kettle to boil over. You just sort of mix it.
Yeah, my son is a connoisseur of those from mac and cheese. He's a big fan.
Same with like pasta as well. It's like powdered pasta you can put into like a mug, but I tend to get like 3 packets of mug and shots of the same thing, whether it be pasta or whether it's like tomato and basil, whether it be roast chicken and or something else, whatever it may be. It does serve like a nice snack for you. So, I'm not saying that's what you'd be doing, but something like that. Stephen was saying cold feet.
Yeah, it's because he knocked the front off of. That's James's line. James, every time somebody knocks the front off the car, he talks about how cold their feet are. Yeah, Stefan, that's I happened to him in both races, didn't it? Did he have the front knocked off? No, just in this one. Yeah, that's not good.
Couple of minutes to go. Just a reminder of the calendar.
Oh yeah,
where we've been to this season. We've been to Bathurst, we've been to Watkins Glen, we've been to Lebanon, we've been to Knockhill, we've been to Sebring, we've been to Thruxton. We're at Zolder tonight. Thanks off to Road America next week. Thanks to the bike layout of Spa and then the historic configuration of Monza to wrap up the season.
But we've had some good races this season. I mean, the ones that stand out to me, the Thruxton race last week was so much fun, and that Knockhill race, of course, was a blast. And Lebanon was a surprise. That was one that I did not expect decent racing, and it actually turned out to be it was a good event.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, Thruxton and Knockhill put on a really, really good show. I think Mount Panorama did in its own way.
Yes.
But I think so far this season, Knockhill and Thruxton have been the standouts.
Absolutely, yeah. Which, if you would have asked me at the beginning of the season, I would not have chosen those two because I had no idea. I mean, Thruxton I at least knew about, but Knockhill, complete and total surprise. 100%. Didn't know anything about it, and it was absolutely fantastic. That course was just so fun.
Waiting for the third race to come. We've got less than a minute to go in the warm-up session. But what have you made of the 2 races so far? What can we expect in race number 3 with a bigger chunk of points being given out, Jim?
I mean, I think, all things being equal, we're going to... Well, so Barry is going to be way at the back of the field. He's going to miss the 10-car reverse. So he's going to have to come all the way through the pack, which is extremely dangerous, obviously. So that could be interesting. And then I guess so trying to remember who exactly is going to be is going to come up in up towards the front. That's a really fast driver, like a Jamie. Is Jamie going to miss the flip too, or is he? Oh, we'll have to see when it comes up here in a minute. I'm actually, let me look at this grid real quick and see. We'll talk a little bit more about it as they start gridding. Here we go.
Into the third race session we go, or at least we should be. I'm just waiting on the grid to appear on the screen. Here we go. We're into the grid. This is Jamie Bird on pole. Jan Polman alongside it, Stefan Millis and Josh Reed on road 2, Bernard de Graaf and Ben Underdown on road 3, Mike Boson and Ethan Bremer on road 4, Gemma Hudson and Luke Maxwell running out the top 10, Nick Marshall, David Walters and James Barry round out the grid.
Man, James has got to come from a long way back. So looking at this grid real quick, of course we're going to go the full 2 minutes because of me. So we got plenty of time to talk about it. What I see here, it's a great chance for Jamie and Josh to try to stretch their legs a little bit while McCutcheon and Maxwell try to work their way through the 8 cars in front of them. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes out. It's hard to think that Maxwell and McCutcheon won't end up towards the front. And I'm sure James is going to be driving the wheels off that thing trying to get up front. Oh, there we go.
Soon enough. It's lights out and away we go. For race number 3, they were very quick as Gert-Jan Polman leads the field clear. And it's 7 minutes in second place. Mike Bousson also in there. And Josh Reed and Mender de Graaf. I think some drivers just didn't get going, Jim. James Barry is right at the back end of this. He has not got going. Neither has Ben Underdown. And it looks like Jamie Bird has lost out. He had to start the race from the pit lane. So we've got a different order, a much different order, Jim, to what we anticipated.
Why the lights never came on? That was extremely strange. What just happened? I'm not even sure. Okay. All right. Well, yeah, it's acting weird. I'm not sure.
Someone launched over the curb at the Klein chicane, and we've seen Mellis go to the inside of Gert-Jan Polman into Villeneuve.
So
Polman holds on for now. 2 beat into Villeneuve. Mike Bousson and Josh Reed look to take advantage. Polman hands it round the inside as they go through there. Josh Reed right there as well, and heading towards the right-hander before the Jochen Rindt chicane. Reed on the inside of Polman. It looks like Polman's going to have to yield this time around. Goes too deep again, does the Dutchman, and he has to accept defeat as Mellis pulls clear.
All right, Stefan, let's see, man. Just take it easy. Just take it easy and get you a good drive in there.
Bousson on the inside of Mellis into turn 1, and Bousson should be able to go through as Mellis runs it too far out wide on the curb, and that's all Bousson needs to take over the head of the pack. He has not won a race yet this season as Mike Bousson, another one of those yet to win. He hopes to change that in the coming minutes here, but it's a shame for James Barry, who has had a lackluster evening, and, well, I think after the absence of last week, this one, I think it's certainly going to be a write-off too.
So he just went to the pits or what?
He wasn't ready.
So he just didn't even... Yeah, I don't know. There was something strange. I'll be curious to see if they talk about that somehow or another. Look at this right here.
Going for it on Mellis, missing the chicane. The pair of them. Polman goes back through, and it looks like de Graaf and Hudson are going to be sailing through past Josh Reed, and Luke Maxwell's not exactly making up all the ground, but he does get through on Reed that time around, and you can just see. It looks like who's that that's going through on there? Josh, it's not David Walters. It's got to be Mender de Graaf or someone like that. But Mender de Graaf is further up the order.
Yeah.
And now Reed is behind Luke Maxwell.
Is that It's not.
It's even Bremer behind.
Oh, okay.
Hudson.
Yeah, it's Bremer. So I need to go back here. So what happened to Luke? Something happened to Maxwell here.
Well, there is Mender de Graaf going through.
And then McCutcheon goes by.
He just had a really poor line through
He must have, or a slowdown or something. I mean, wow. Okay. I mean, okay. Oh!
That's Mender de Graaf going heavy on the curb.
Heavy on the curb. All kinds of heavy. Holy cow! That was a bad one.
Hudson up in 4th place. He should be able to dispose Polman and Mellis rather easily as they filter through out of Villeneuve and heading towards the right-hander of Boulderberg. And you can just see how deep both Mellis and Polman have gone compared to how Hudson would go through that. This is going to be risky for Hudson to go through on Polman into the final part of the circuit. Hudson backs out of it. That was the most sensible thing for him to do.
It was indeed. Pick your time and place. You got plenty of time in this race. You get by those two, you're in 2nd place, pushing for the leader. So, no need to go too hard there.
There is Polman and Mellis. Polman goes too deep in 2. There is the door. Is Hudson going to head through there? He is, Polman will have to yield that time around. He's not going to be later on the brakes to what Hudson's going to be. And so that's all of what Hudson needs to head through. Looking at even Bremer, who's going through on Polman on the inside, heading into the Klein chicane. Bremer backs out of it. And they'll filter through nicely through there, and it'll be Villeneuve next. We've seen a number of drivers overshoot that during the course of tonight. How will they get through this time around on the 4th lap?
Look at this gaggle of cars right here, would you?
Hudson holds on. He's lost ground to Millis, though.
That is some good racing right there, though. That's what you come to see.
5 minutes into this 3rd race, the bigger chunk of points get given out after this. But after Barry's error this evening, and Luke Maxwell, who didn't have the best of times in the first race, but did well to finish in 3rd place, I think it was, by the end of the first one. He did win the second one, but it's very much in Hutchinson's court to take the title this season. We've still got 3 more rounds to go, but he is picking them off one by one.
Yeah, this is, I was actually looking up at my monitor there to see something that caught me out of the corner of the eye. I thought somebody ran off track there, but I guess not. Oh, oh my goodness, what happened back here? Hold on.
Hutchinson got out of shape.
He sure did.
Hutchinson got out of shape on the exit of Klein, and Pullman will be waiting in the wings. And Bremer looking to the inside of Pullman, backs out of it again. And Busson's margin is over 4 seconds now. This is playing into his hands.
Perfectly.
I think only a mistake. I think only a mistake from Busson is going to cost him the win.
Yeah, you would think so. I mean, if McCutcheon disposes of Mellis here pretty quickly, he can start making that run up there. I hate to do this, but this is going to make me sad.
This is Jamie Bird.
Yeah.
Horrible evening.
Yeah, that wasn't the best TV angle for it, but we'll go back and look at it with a regular TV angle, see what happened to him here. Just kicks out on him. He saves it the first time. Look at that. That was a nice save right there. Then he lost it again, and he couldn't save it that time, but he didn't wreck it. He didn't take anybody out, so good on him. Well, that's a tough one.
He's back on the circuit in 10th position. David Walters in the pits.
McCutcheon just got by by Mellis too.
Yep, I don't know where he's done that, but he's now through on Mellis, and looks like Pullman fancies a go on his rival in the AMS.
Yeah, but he just did it as we cut back from that other replay. He's going back. Oh, don't do that, Stefan. That's where he always gets himself in trouble, man. He tries to, overdrive it a wee bit, and the next thing you know, it causes him trouble. Oh my goodness, all right, so here we're gonna jump back here. This is some things happen back here, so let's go back. Why is it? Oh, there it goes. So we got this little gaggle going on. We got that wreck there.
Pullman went round. That's Bremer's from end gone as well.
Yes. And then, of course, Maxwell just come through the grass, which got Geert Van Pullman by him. Well, not close to getting by him anyway. Yeah, so that was a mess, wasn't it?
It was, and Pullman will have sustained damage from that, as well as Bremer. But they are still in the race, those two. Walters came into the pits with some form of issue. That's how Jamie Bird up another place. 5 seconds is the margin. Is Hutchinson going to close that down in 16 minutes on Busson?
I believe he can, and I'm sure you do as well. But yeah, we'll just have to see. I think Mike is one of those guys that is fast, but are the nerves going to get to him? And he sees that ticker coming down. And does he make a little boo-boo and put a wheel off track and lose a second here or there? You know what I mean? Luke Maxwell is all over. Who's that? That's, Minnow DeGraff, yeah.
It's DeGraff. It's Yeah, it is DeGraaf. It's Maxwell. It's Josh Reed. So I'm getting their names mixed up. But Maxwell's going through on DeGraaf this time around, heading into turn 1. And that's easy picking for Luke Maxwell as he heads through. The next driver ahead is Stefan Millis, who's another couple of seconds up the road. Now, can Maxwell make it 3 podiums this evening, something which he's not achieved for some time? And DeGraaf almost running into the rear of him, which wasn't particularly the most clever thing to do. And now he'll be under attack from Josh Reed in a moment.
Yeah, because he had to put the brakes on so hard because he almost hit Maxwell, and that allowed Reed to come up on him. But if I'm being honest, man, Menno DeGraaf's up here racing like he's a pro with Josh Reed and Luke Maxwell. He's up there mixing it up with these two guys, That's pretty impressive in itself.
Nice driving all around from Luke Maxwell. It's inevitable to get past Stefan Millis, providing he doesn't make any form of mistake. Bremer continuing to lose time. Pullman continuing to lose time. He's down in 10th now, is Pullman, losing even more ground. But this is all helping Stefan Millis in the run-in in the AMS.
Yes, but McCutcheon is also whittling away. It's not flying down, but he's picked up about a half second on that lap.
When comparing the 2 laps, he's 0.2 quicker to what Buson's posted. He's posted a new fast lap of the race as John Hodgson. After 11 minutes, we've done 8 laps, and we've still got some way to go. Hodgson has enough time to go for his 11th win of the season.
He's the only guy that has posted a lap in the 119s in under race trim, at least in this session. To be honest, I didn't really notice in the other ones who had the fastest lap, but here, he's the only guy that posts one in the 119s.
Oh, someone's in the wall. Sorry to interrupt you, Jim. Someone went into the wall on the exit of turn 4. We'll find out who that was. It might have been... Was it Menno DeGraaf that went into the barrier there? We'll see soon enough.
Nobody dropping or anything. Is it Bremer?
No, Bremer's front end had already gone from the contact with Pullman. I think it was Menno DeGraaf that had that spin, and he's gone over the curve so heavily that he couldn't get the car stopped.
Let's see here. All right, let me see.
On the exit of turn 4. Yeah.
Oh.
That's quite a whack, isn't it?
That was quite a whack. I would be shocked if his front end wasn't a little jacked up from that. Let's see. So we're on board real quick. Let me go back live, and then we'll go to his steering wheel and see.
This is even Bremer. We want to look at Menno DeGraaf.
My bad. I thought we were. No,
He's in the pits.
Yeah, he jumped to the pits. That's why camera went off of him.
Yeah, he's tilting to the right.
A little, not as bad as I would have thought. That was a pretty good smack.
No, that's a significant amount of damage, Jim. If he was going at high speed, you would have noticed it, clearly. Because it's easy enough to say that when he's going at slower speed, but his steering was all askew, and looking at the way he was going through the corners, he was struggling big time. So that explains why he went over the curves at Villeneuve so violently.
Well, that was pretty violent for sure. So, am I the only one that does? Let me see. Hold on, I don't want to do this incorrectly here. Am I the only one that sees this image right here and starts hearing the Jaws theme?
Maybe. But Maxwell's on the tail of Millis because that's a lot closer of a battle that we want to be seeing. Maxwell will be alongside Millis in a moment. Coming through Jackie Hicks. Here they are, look. Millis and Maxwell on the pit straight. And he'll go through in a moment. Will the championship contenders. Maxwell on the inside of Millis, but Millis shuts the door. But Maxwell will be back for more soon enough. Comparing the lap times between Buson and Hodgson, Buson was actually able to respond, but I think Hodgson may have lost about 4 or 5 tenths on that last lap.
Yeah, he does look like it's coming down. It's kind of stayed about. It's about 4.5 seconds, so it didn't really move much on that lap, but. So Luke's having I ain't gonna say a difficult time, but Stefan's holding his own up there.
Up the hill and down they come.
Which, if I'm being honest, he does that. I mean, he runs pretty fast. He's got some good pace in him. He just ends up making a little bit of an overdriving mistake sometimes, and it cost him. But I mean, I think Luke is, I would say be impatient, but you can't be too patient. Or those guys, there he goes.
Yeah, he's going to the outside here with Mers, but Mers will have the inside for... Oh, and he's sliding through there, look. Sliding through. He knew that Max was going a lot quicker. And Hutchinson's posting a new fast lap of the race, 6/10 quicker than what Buson just posted.
Well, there you go. He straightened that right up, didn't he?
Now, turn 2, he comes. John Hutchinson started the race from 9th on the grid. Coming through very, very nicely, which is hardly a surprise.
He's flying right now.
Isn't he just? As he heads through sector 1, and that sector alone, he's taken another nearly 1.5 tenths.
I have to be honest with you. What happened to James Barry here is very disappointing to me. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like I was cheated out of something. You know what I mean? Like I really wanted to see him up there mixing it up with these guys, and whatever it was, and maybe it was something he couldn't avoid. He had to get whatever real life reasons he may have to jump off or something. I don't know, but just unfortunate. I was really looking forward to seeing the three of them get after it in this race.
Compare the latest laps between Buson, who just posted his personal best lap of the race, a 1:20.0. John Hudson, 1:19.6. 4 tenths out of his margin.
He's cutting them down fast, man. He is cutting them down fast. Look.
And through goes Reed on Mellis to the outside. Reed will have to go onto the curb to get this job done, provided it doesn't get a slowdown. And Reed is finally through on Mellis, who is down to 5th.
Yep. So let me ask you a question here, okay? Say you're Josh Reed, or maybe you were Maxwell before, and you come up on a Stefan Mellis, and he's in a different class than you. Does it bother you that he races you super hard?
No, because he's fighting for whatever he can get, and who knows,
fine.
if he's further down the line, if he can tussle it out with the pros, the chances are he could become a pro in the coming seasons.
Agreed. I want to get your opinion on that.
If I want to pass him, I'd pass him the traditional way, not just someone letting me through because they're in a different class to me.
Well, I'm not necessarily saying letting him through now. I'm just saying, there's racing somebody, and then there's racing them really hard, where you're squeezing them off their line, and you're not giving them the proper amount of space and stuff like that. There's a difference, but I don't know. I agree that he's certainly got the right to race for that space on the track. But I guess my question is that the smart thing to do from his standpoint? Does it cost him? Does it get him into trouble? Where he ends up caused himself some damages or whatever, that maybe wouldn't have been there if he doesn't do that.
I don't know how to answer that, but I'll just, if I was Luke Maxwell, I'd just get on with it and just pass him.
Yeah, no, I absolutely, I agree. And Josh Reed was the one that just passed him. But yes, you're right. I just, I don't know, just a thought. I just, I know that Stefan gets himself in trouble sometimes, and I know he's got the pace to really win a lot of these races if he would just keep his nose a little cleaner.
1:19.9 that Buson posted last time around. Hutchinson did a 1:19.8, and I think Mellis is coming back on Reed a little bit, but I'm going to stay with Hutchinson as he drifts his way through the final part of the lap. 1:20.2 for Buson. Hutchinson has just done a 1:19.7. Half a second he's taken out of him on that last lap. Jamie Bird is out of the race, Jim.
Oh my goodness. Oh, he went off track. Yeah, he must have. Let's go see real quick. I don't want to focus on Jamie like that, but oh, no, I think something must have come up there. He wasn't running well, and I guess, something came up. He just decided to park it, I think. Yeah, McCutcheonson's coming. He's got to below 2 seconds now. Below 3 seconds now. And how much time do we have left? We've got, I'm still in replay mode. Let me jump back to live action here.
We've got just over 5 minutes.
He's right around the 3-second mark again. He must have.
Yeah, I would probably say we've got 4 more laps to go the next time they head over the line. Will Buson and Hudson. Hudson's lost time on this lap.
Yeah, a bunch of time.
Yeah, looking at his first sector, it was actually quicker, but the second one, although comparing the two,
he had to have a boo-boo somewhere, though.
Yeah, we'll have a look when he crosses over the line compared to what Buson has posted. Buson has done a 1:20.0. There's no way Hudson's done a 1:19, surely. No, it's a 1:27. Yeah, he's lost about...
Yeah, 3/4 of a second.
Yeah, about 3/4 of a second, I would say, on that last lap for John Hudson.
What's weird is it shows 3/4 of a second there, but if you look at the interval, well, I guess it is about 3/4 of a second, because he had gotten it down into the high 2s, and it's back to the mid 3s now. That was whatever happened there, a little off track, or well, wasn't off track because I don't show anything, but whatever happened, a little bobble, a little wiggle, whatever it was, that was pretty costly. I don't, with 5 minutes to go, he basically put 3/4, almost a second back on this gap. That's going to be tough.
David Walters is closing on Gert-Jan Polman. On the last lap, he took 1.2 seconds out of his margin. Walters absolutely flying on with the laps he's produced. So he's in actual fact done a faster time than what Hudson did on that last lap. And he's going like clockwork here, is the man who has impressed at times, although he has been in the wars on too many occasions to counter that. But he is a very quick driver by means of... racing in the AMS as he heads through the Klein chicane. Took too much curve though, Jim.
What you just said though is very descriptive of how the process goes. First you figure out how to drive, and then you figure out how to get up to speed, and then as you start getting up to speed, then you got to keep your nose out of trouble. You end up having some trouble and whatnot, and so you got to stay out of that. And that's kind of how it progresses, like Walters is to the point where it's very much like Stefan Mellis. Mellis has got the speed, and if he starts keeping his nose a little cleaner, his finishes will start getting better, which they're not bad now. I mean, he's second place in points, I believe. Look at Josh getting it off track there.
3 seconds is the margin between Buson and Hudson. I think Buson's got this one covered, providing he does not make any more mistakes. The last time around, Hudson took a 10.5 out of his margin.
That's not going to do it. It needs to be 4 or 5 tenths every lap at this point.
Probably even more than that. It has to be at least a second if he's have any chance of winning this one.
Yeah, at this point, it's going to require Buson to make some sort of mistake. I would think. Look, I don't want to cut away from this, but there it goes. Okay,
that's gone too deep.
Yeah, there it is. Yep. So it looks like Nick Marshall had a little trouble here.
He's on the exit turn 1. What's he done here?
He looks...
one's fine.
Oh, he just hung that back tire. Yep. Golly. Well, he didn't wreck it. Okay. Yeah, all right. That's good. He didn't tear it up.
Comparing the 2 laps of Buson and Hudson, 4 tenths was the difference. But it's still not enough as they go through past Nick Marshall to lap.
Yeah, I think, again, I think it's just going to, the only chance he's got is if Buson makes a mistake. And I got to give Mike credit, I mean, McCutcheon's been free back there for a while now. And, Buson is doing a great job. McCutcheon has not been able to close that gap that much. Well, I mean, he's cut about half of it out, but still. This is John McCutcheon, the man who's got, I have to take my shoes off to count his championships. He's got more than my fingers, so.
He's still not gaining enough on this lap. The gap is 2.7 seconds between Buson and Hudson. We'll see what the gap is what the lap times are as they go over the line. Buson doing a 1:20.1, but Hudson a 1:19.9. 2 tenths faster than what Buson's done, but it's still not enough.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna get it done.
Last lap though, Buson on his way to his first win of the campaign, Jim.
Yeah, it looks like it, and more power to him. I mean, he's had some good runs so far this season. You know, he's been fast.
A super drive indeed, and it looks like Stefan Millis is going to be another different winner in the AMS tonight.
We'll be able to get Mike
down in race 1.
Get Mike in here for a big chin wag with you.
Yeah. And as they head through the Villeneuve chicane for the last time here, I think Buson's just taking it very easy. Hudson will just give him a little bit of a challenge all the way to the fly, but he's not going to gain all the time he can get. But it's been a super drive from Mike Buson. The grid, or the getaway on the grid, was different to what we anticipated. But Mike Buson has kept going all the way through to the flag, with John Hudson closing him down all the time. Mike Buson exits the Jackie X chicane for the last time through the alternate section of it. He wins here in Zolder and takes the final win of tonight. Brilliant job from Mike Buson ahead of John Hutchison, with Luke Maxwell bagging a 3rd podium out of 3, and with Josh Reed in 4th place, and it'll be Stefan Millis, the winner this time around in the AMS. A solid effort from him, and
very good.
Lead at the top of the championship.
Very, very good. Was he at the top? I thought it was still Van Polman, but I might be wrong. My memory's not the best.
I mean, considering they dropped scores, I think it's still Mellis on top, but we'll see soon enough when the championship standings get updated in due course. Gert-Jan Polman, 2nd in class, ahead of David Walters. Walters closing him down all the time, but Walters ends up 1.5 seconds off Polman at the flag, which is waiting for Mender de Graaf to head over the line. Yeah,
he had a rough night tonight. He's involved in a couple little things here and there. Well, all right. Well, I tell you what, that was a lot of fun. That was like I said, I wish James Berry would have been out there, but that was a great overall, it was a great win. Let's see if these points are going to come up, or the finishing order. It is not. I apologize. I have no idea what's going on with that.
I'll run it down anyway. Mike Buson is the winner, ahead of John Hutchison. Luke Maxwell 3rd. Josh Reed 4th, is Stefan Millis in 5th. And the winner in the AMS, Ethan Bremer 6th. Then it's Gert-Jan Polman in 7th and Dave Walters in 8th. They round out the AMS podium. Mender de Graaf and Nick Marshall with the rest of those to finish. Jamie Bird did not finish. Ben Underdown and James Barry didn't even start race number 3. We've got a couple of drivers waiting in the booth. Let's bring in Mike Buson first, because he won out in the end in that 3rd race, Jim. So we'll have a word with him first to discuss about his evening's performances.
All right, here he is.
And here he is, the winner of race number 3, Mike Buson. How are you, sir? First win of the season at last, a long time coming. But how did you feel during the course of this evening with your performances?
Very hot and sweaty.
Is that really a surprise?
Oh, my little bald head is dripping. We're going to have to buy some new headsets. Or new muffs. Yes! Anyway, yes. Where were we?
We were talking about your sweaty little head. That's where we were at.
Yeah. Well, obviously work, but yes, no, great 3rd race. I felt I had the speed in me, and normally I would pay too much attention to how far John is behind me, but I turned it off.
Nice.
Kept driving. I just wanted to know what the clock was saying to me, so that was my technique for the night, my approach. It worked.
The other results being 6th in race 1, 4th in race 2. What really clicked for you this evening, Mike?
I don't know really. I make some clumsy mistakes. Like the first 2 races, I didn't even realise I was on higher brake bias than I would normally, so I just locked up at every corner and just assumed it was just me crap driving. But well, it wasn't me crap driving, but it was brake bias was too high because it defaulted in sessions. And I think it's just the turning, the brakes, rotating the car works for me on these sort of tracks. So.
It was a fast-flowing circuit as well, and we seem to be on this stretch of fast, smooth circuits, not like these sort of slow ones that you tend to find, like Hungary, for instance, or anywhere like that. But do you feel like you thrive better on the sort of fast flowing tracks compared to the sort of slower ones?
Yeah. It's hard to say without looking at track types, but I like things like Mo Sport, Road Atlanta, Road America. This was pretty good. I don't like the clumsy tracks. I do not like the Gurgens and whatever it was. What was that weird thing John put in this season? Lebanon or something like that.
Lebanon, yeah.
Lebanon,
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, I appreciate I've got little track time like a lot of people on them, but they just don't work for me.
Road America next, though. Sure, that's got to be something that will treat something that will, one that you're looking forward to. That's probably what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a hard one. I'm fast there. The problem is you tow everyone along, and more often than not, I get taken out on what I call the back straight into to the end of the back straight. So it's a 50-50, and I'm fast there, but it will depend on who wants to dive bomb it, I would imagine. But I am looking forward to it.
Anyone you want to shout out to, Mike, before I let you go? No politics, please, by the way.
Ah, damn it! And I had some good
Nope,
stuff. No,
can't have it.
Well, I think you'll find I'll just chuck it in. But in fairness, I'd already sorted this out. This is a shout out to Stefan for holding John up just long enough that I could just have a healthy gap and just settle into it.
Oh, he did. That's you did a good. Hey,
He did.
You had a good drive tonight, Mike. Congratulations. You got up there and held that.
Much.
Yep. Congratulations, buddy.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. Speak to you soon, guys.
Thank you very much, Mike, and well done on your first win of the season.
All right.
That was Mike.
Who do you
based
want
on
now? You want
taking-
John or you want Luke?
I want Luke next. We'll go to John last, if that's all right. Jim,
you go.
we'll bring Luke
Yep.
Maxwell in. It's been a long time coming, actually, for you, Luke. First win in 5 weeks for you. I think the last win you took was in Watkins Glen in round 2. Round 7 proved to be the lucky number for you to get your first win for some time. How was it for you tonight?
Yeah, a bit overdue, that one. It's a difficult place to kind of race on with when you're trying to follow and get past people. It's pretty tough because everybody seemed to have reasonable pace there. So it was good. I'm really glad to get a win eventually. It's been a while. There's been a few podiums, but there's also been two terrible weeks racing. So I think Thruxton and I can't remember the other one. Yeah, that was a bit of a shocker as well. So glad to put those two behind me. Hopefully they'll be my drop rounds and we can have some strong results moving forward.
You mentioned the drop scores in there. I mean, I'd imagine it's going to play into your hands a little bit, but you have to say with John Hodgson's consistency over the course of the season, he's now on 10 wins. Out of 21 races this season, he's on 10 wins.
Yeah. What can you say? He's a bit of an alien, isn't he, John? It's difficult, you know. He's tried to catch up with him in race 1, but of course James all over me. So, and then race 2, he was kind of gaining on me, I think, a bit, and then I really had to focus on trying to keep the gap at around 2 seconds. So that was pretty tough. So yeah, I think he was about a tenth quicker in race pace. But where I'm struggling the most is at the race starts, those first sort of 3 laps. I seem to be able to drive better when I've got the tyres in, and I'm quite slow, those first few laps. Although that last race I did got a cracking start in the 3rd race, and then of course went wide about 2 corners later and lost it all. So it's something I've got to work on, I think.
Yeah. Well, we've got Road America next, so you haven't got too long to wait. But is that a circuit that will suit you? Because it seems to be a driver's favourite. We spoke to Mike, and he was mentioning the fact that it's good for him, but it's just the fact that you drag everyone along with that slipstream effect.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit more of a challenge with the slipstream there. I do love Road America. I don't know if I've ever won there in a radical SR8 or SR10, but I've kind of always been there or thereabouts, I think. So, but then again, it's also quite an easy place to make a mistake, and do something with the tyres or catch a bit of gravel and you're in trouble. So I think it'd be good fun though. I'm looking forward to it. I do love Road America.
Anyone to shout out to, Luke, before we let you go?
I'll give a shout out to Mike for the win there. Well done, Mike.
Good on you. And well done on picking up the race 2 victory and the 2 third places in races 1 and 3. A better evening for you, Luke. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Cheers, guys.
That was Luke Maxwell after a more positive evening from what we saw from him in previous weeks. Time to bring in the man who won race 1 and is the championship leader after this one. John, it's the perfect 10 for this season. 10 wins out of 21 races.
Not bad for an old guy. All these young guns coming through.
No, in all seriousness, how was the evening for you?
Sweaty, but really good.
That seems to be the theme of the night.
Oh man, it's so hot in here.
It's been roasting like over the last few days, Jim. It's been that kind of period for us in Britain, and even for those in Scotland.
You're talking to a guy from Texas. The high today was like 95 degrees and the humidity was like 85%. It's miserable. That's why I sim race. I don't have to leave the house.
And you get a workout.
Yes, that's right. So one thing I wanted to touch on while we got you in here, John, is we showed the points today. I just wanted to go over that with you. And so that's starting now to factor in their 2 drop rounds. So I guess from here on, we'll show the points with the drop rounds in as it changes and moves along over these last few weeks. Is that what the plan is?
Almost, because there might be some changes tomorrow. Like I said to you, like the first week, kind of I threw everything out because there was only 2 races included in the points. So I've had to manually update them. I'll do that again tomorrow, and I'll update the official league standings. So it should be okay tomorrow.
Okay.
It won't be far off tonight. You know, there's not a great deal of point differences in them now. But that is 2 rounds dropped so far.
All right. Well, we appreciate it, and thanks for stopping by. Congratulations. It's it's easy to congratulate you. You seem to always have a good week. But anyway, you got anybody you want to shout out to while we got you in here?
Yes, I have to give a shout out to Jane Marie, aka Tia Maria. I forgot about her last week, so shout out to her.
All righty. Well, we'll see you next week, buddy, and congratulations on another good night on your 10th win of the season, by the way.
Okay, thanks, guys. Thanks a lot.
We will continue counting them because that's the kind of commentary duo we are, Jim.
That's right.
And there we go.
We leave the math to you, though.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, but no, I think in Zolder we didn't quite see the action of what we saw in Thruxton or in the previous rounds. It just felt like one of those sort of calmer evenings for us spectators, us as commentators, and for the drivers out there. But a solid evening's work for the likes of Luke Maxwell and perhaps Mike Booston and John Hudson. They needed a clean round like this one.
Yeah, and certainly there was some significant ground maybe made up tonight on Barry because he's already missed a round, so we know he's got some drops because of that. So with 2 rounds bad tonight as well, that's certainly going to help the likes of Luke and Busan and all those guys with kind of closing the gap around him and working around him. That was a tough night for James. Really tough.
It was a very tough evening for James Barry, not finishing race 2, failing to start in race 3, and he only came over the podium in race number 1. He'll hope for better luck next time out in Road America, the next round of the championship being there in 7 days' time. Thank you very much for everyone tuning in. Do make sure you like and subscribe to the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel. And
real
go on,
quick,
Jim, you're going to say something?
Yes, that was apparently that was that Jamie? No, I'm not sure who that was in chat, but I think that might have been James Barry. It said, "Sorry, Jim, I came back from dinner break and had to reset my VR, and I just missed the start by 5 seconds."
That is cruel luck on James. But I'm surprised they didn't allow him to start from the pit lane in on that respect. I thought it would have allowed him to do it.
Yeah, I don't. Unless that was Jamie Bird, I don't know which one that is, but either way. that is a heck of a bad break for whoever that was, because it says Jamie MB, so I guess in theory it could be James Berry too, but I would think it's Jamie Bird. But yeah, unfortunate either way. So anyway, I'm sorry. We'll go ahead and finish our sign off. I just saw that and wanted to. I thought that was important. So.
Thank you to everyone that's tuned in. Do make sure you like and subscribe to the JP Broadcasting YouTube channel and keep right up to date with all the action that we show on stream. Jim, thank you very much for joining me in the commentary position, and thank you to the drivers for putting on the show this evening at Zolder. We'll do Olive again at Road America in 7 days' time. I'm Tom Cairns, he's Jim Cunningham, and we'll speak to you again soon when the Radical SR8 Championship returns.